And here we go. The opening scene here is like from the beginning of Aliens, kind of. The airlock opens and we see what we think is the alien head coming in, but it ends up being mechanical and it's spraying light all around and it's like a scanning bot, right?
Mm-hmm.
As somebody's coming in there. So it's a similar kind of thing, except it's maybe like a hand. Actually, I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of those little camera slash spotlight slash propeller things that divers will use to get around with, but for zero G. All right.
Right.
And we see one of these, and this guy is kind of steering it as he's coming into this airlock opens up, and he comes in, and we see him kind of panning things around, and you hear the okay, yeah, it looks good. It looks real good. Come on. And he keeps going, and we see a couple more people kind of coming in, and they come in, and we hear the clunk clunk as they get. It's like, all right, well, whatever it is, the floor is magnetic. As they get kind of chunked down, and we hear all three of them kind of chunk, and that we're panning around from this room, and we haven't seen most of the room until now, but now we've seen, and the walls are all kind of like sheets of mica, and that kind of feel, and pearlescent. Not metal, what you would think they would be. The floor seems slightly different, but mostly just darker. The fact that the magnetic thing is working on it is interesting. It's like, I don't even see how we get out of here. It's like, it looks like there's maybe an opening. As he gets closer, the thing kind of like it sort of fades almost. It does like a fade transition, and suddenly you've got like, all right, well, yeah, okay, no, we've seen this before. It's fine. We're going in there. And we see a couple of almost time-lapse things as they're slowly investigating this definitely alien weird space, and their defenses lowering a little bit as everything seems to be fine, and they're fine. There's some exclamations about, oh, you want, but I think I've got a data core over here. Like, there's all of this kinds of stuff, and it's like, Martino, get down here. I need you to help pull this thing. Martino, Seth, are you up there with Martino? No, she's not anywhere near here. She's like at least 2 rooms over. We'll go and check, guys. And you. The last thing you see is you hear the voice of this guy talking, going tinny as it switches from the audio to diegetic from inside of the helmet of one of these guys as they're on the floor, and we still see their eyes moving, and they're looking like in terror at their hands as these glowing snail things are like crawling across their hands, and the like sort of like black sclera is starting to crawl up into their eyes as they're like looking at this thing in terror. And it's like
black oil from Texas.
And you see these guys like, and you're pulling back from that and pulling, and the guy's still talking is like, just Martino, where? And we're pulling back out. We're pulling back down the tube that's connecting to this thing that they came through in the first place, through this little ship that they were in, this little salvager, and back out. And we see this ship that looks pretty good size. We pan through it for a while. We come out the other end of it, and we see that it's docked with this huge crystalline structure, the big crystalline ship that we've been looking at, the big boy, which I think we had in text here, right, at some point not that long ago. Oh, and here's
I have it on the map.
Yeah, you have it on the map, and we have these glowing snail things thank you, Tumblr, once again for sending me the coolest shit. And backing out to this crystalline thing, and just going out, and slowly that signal from this guy getting fainter and fainter and finally going staticky and that kind of thing. And we get the sense that a great deal of, this is in the past, because we're coming forward to this thing.
Can we pause for 1 second to do the experience thing?
Oh, yeah. I
just want to do the experience thing real quick. So it says, when you fill a box, 4 ticks on any legacy track.
Okay, so let's go back to you.
At my character, and I'm
under legacies.
On the legacy tab,
you have 3 legacy tracks. You have quests, bonds, and discoveries.
Right.
Okay. I don't think you marked anything when we encountered the thing, the blob,
right,
last time.
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. So would that go on discoveries or quests?
Discoveries, because it's weird stuff, because we were confronting chaos, and that's 2 hashes, because there were 2 things that we talked about happening, and when you encounter them for the first time, you get to mark a hash when you deal with it for the first time. So you've learned more weird shit. You've had more discoveries than me because you've been on the weird the original vault and things like that.
Right.
So
Okay.
and every time you finish a box, until you, well, at least on this first time through the track, you can go through the track multiple times, but it takes a while. But the first time through the track, every time you fill a box, you get 2 XP. In Roll20, there is a place for you to mark the XP, and I don't see anything like that in here. So I think probably you could just put it on the notes page, probably. But there isn't really a place to like mark the XP that you have and the XP that you spent, because you want to kind of mark both numbers. Like, here's my total amount of XP that I have, and this is how much I've actually spent.
Okay. So looking at the advanced move, it says you may spend 3 experience to add a new asset or 2 experience to upgrade an asset.
Right. So 3 lets you
And
buy a brand
so-
new thing, and 2 lets you basically pick up any dot that you have that you haven't already used or picked up in one of your other things like Gearhead or Scavenger or Symbiote or whatever. And that lets you mark when you make a move and heed the symbiote's guidance, decide after rolling you may re-roll
Right.
any dice, then endure stress. Yeah.
So that's what I added. I just want to make sure that we were doing the
100%.
experience part of it correctly.
Totally
So,
did it right.
yeah. So it looks like we got 2 experience, and I spent them on that, and that's probably it.
Yep.
We're probably caught up on that.
Yep, that's totally cool. Yeah, thank you. I should have remembered that earlier. Okay, so Grudge, I think, kind of turns around to you and goes, what's the protocol? Do we circle this thing and scan the outside, or what's I'm not a pearl diver, and this ain't a pearl. That is not pearl. Is this what they're like when they're not down in the soup and accumulating stuff? Is this what they...
The reason they look like pearls is because they're coated with the stuff from the atmosphere. This one doesn't have atmosphere on it. They're all different underneath. When we crack the
Really?
pearl off of them, they're all different. There was a huge number of different factions of the precursors. They did not all get along by any means. In fact, some of them really hated each other. And so it depends on who built this thing. This doesn't look like a one I'm particularly familiar with.
That's
Could
great.
be anything.
So do I go around and scan the outside?
Well, the real question is, did Quentin leave us any probes that are still working?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got other probes. Sure. Yeah, that's not a problem. We got all kinds of probes. We don't have that was one of the good ones.
Yeah, I'd say let's probe it around the outside and see what we can see before we get too close.
How about you roll then?
Gather information, maybe.
Actually, there's a move specifically for this because we're at a waypoint. This is the thing that's at the waypoint, and there is a move.
Explore waypoint.
Yes, explore waypoint. Yes, that is exactly what it is. When you divert from an expedition to examine a notable location, and then you roll plus wits.
Because I'm looking at my assets, and I have the scavenger one that says when you gather information or resupply when scavenging a wreck, ruin, or abandoned site, take one and blah, 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 blah. So that's why I was aiming for gather information as opposed to...
Well, we'll probably gather information and resupply both, but let's look at explore waypoint. I kind of want the explore waypoint to set us up for like what we find. Part of the reason... Okay, so full disclosure. The reason I set up that scene, first of all, it's just a little bit of a precursors, a little bit of foreshadowing into how deadly the whole fucking place is. But also, it leaves us in a situation where we don't necessarily have to go in to resupply because we roll the explore waypoint and go, hey, yes, there's definitely a thing here. You should definitely flag this. You should let some people know it's here. But also, there's a compatible ship right there that you can refuel off of.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's there, but it could be that we roll poorly and it's like, yeah, it's there, but it's also half encased in crystal. And can you even get to it anymore because it's becoming part of the ship?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, the pearl thing comes from being in that particular atmosphere of...
100%, but I'm thinking, yes, it could... Definitely coming from that, but at the same time, also not the pearl effect. It might just be growing over the other ship because that's just how the ships work. They heal and they're repairing themselves right over top of it, whatever. Anyway, so I was thinking that, and then if we decide we're going to go in or at least start to do that kind of stuff and doing the gather information and resupply and stuff like that, that's still going to come up when we're doing that part. I just want to see what the setup is. Because I feel like if we're going to go into the big thing, we're probably undertaking an expedition inside of the expedition, which is fine, but it's also a lot. Like, that's welcome to the rest of the session, because that's probably what we're doing. What do we get?
Strong hit.
All right.
Time to make a discovery. So, are
Okay.
we just
Find an
do we want to
opportunity.
roll and make a discovery, or do we want to say we discovered the ghost chip?
On a strong hit, choose one. Well, no. On a strong hit with a match, you make a discovery. That's like and make a discovery is like weird shit. Like friendly weird shit. As opposed to so for a strong hit, you may choose one down below. So we either find an opportunity, envision a favorable insight, situation, resource, or encounter. In this case, I think, the ship, and then take +2 momentum, alternately gain progress, marking progress on your expedition, your larger expedition according to its rank, which I would rather do the find an opportunity thing, to be perfectly honest, because I think we need to resupply anyway. So finding a place where we can because part of it I was thinking, it's like, how the fuck are we going to resupply off of a precursor shit? Like,
Well, welcome to my whole character concept, which is I'll take this weird piece of precursor technology and strap it into our ship, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like, this is crystal. That it's definitely an energy source. It's not compatible with us, but I bet I can make it compatible, and then we're not going to probably need fuel. We may slowly lose crew members.
We also may never sleep again, but that's okay. That's just more energy for us.
Yeah, it's a crystal. It'll power the ship. Everybody on the ship has nightmares now, but it's going to run our spaceship for the next 1,000 years. It'll be fine.
Oh, question: do we need to add a progress tracker for this precursor vault? And if so, does that go on individual sheets or on the share?
Probably the share sheet. So it depends on how we want to approach it. So we found an opportunity. The opportunity being, oh yeah, hey look, there's like, dang, I haven't seen one of those things. And there was a documentary film that they had on Pinnacle about that. I haven't seen one of those scouts in ever. That's got to be at least 100 years old. And it's just docked right on the outside of the thing. I said, well, okay, that's really interesting. More importantly, does it run on the same fuel? Oh, yeah, it runs on the same fuel. Excellent. So if we're going to go straight to that ship and not try to get into the thing, we don't necessarily have to do a expedition thing. We can do this as a series of skill checks, just getting onto the attached ship, getting stuff off, and trying not to anger Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Or the ship is merely the entry point where we're going to explore this thing, in which case then we do and undertake the expedition, but we probably still do it after we get attached to this other ship and do a couple things.
I say we try to, I think our goal should be, can we just, with minimal drama, go and slurp fuel out of the other ship?
Yeah, and then if things go sideways, now it's expedition time, because some tentacle fucking grabbed Grudge, and now we have to go get him back or something, while we're
right. Yeah. So I like that idea. All right, it's just going to be simple. We're just going to go hook a siphon up to the other ship. We're not even going to go in.
We'll probably have to go out on the skin of the ship to hook up the 2 fuel, things.
Yeah. But once that happens, which I'm plenty experienced with going outside and jumping around on the outside of things.
Yeah. We have to take.
This is a good. Speaking of which, this is a good time to tell me about your retooled character.
Yes. Okay. So I did do a couple. We talked about this last time, but we talked a little bit about a couple of changes. I had done diplomat and Iron Sworn. What was it? What were my things? Banner Sworn, and then diplomat, and then the blade. Whatever. Blade thing was never coming up anyway. And where's my? Hang on. So I kept Banner Sworn because that's been coming up much. Diplomat, technically, I've had it and it's applied, but I've never remembered to use it. So I didn't really feel bad about dropping it because I haven't yet got any benefit out of it. So what I went with was Empath, and I kind of did a couple of these rolls ahead of time while I was switching things around just to fix it. But I switched over to Empath, which is essentially just what it says is when you read the intent, emotions, or memories of a nearby being, roll heart. On the strong hit, you glimpse a helpful aspect of their inner self. Envision what you learn, take +2 blah, 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 blah. There's stuff. He may actually be an empath, or he might simply be very empathic in the way that he perceives people and picks up the same stuff. Sort of Sherlock from the more recent BBC series, if he wasn't a psychopath, is kind of how I'm going with that. Just being really good at reading people and picking up clues and making educated guesses and stuff like that.
Given the nature of his daughter, do we know that it's not?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying he's always assumed that it's just I'm really good at reading people. And the other one is Sleuth, which is, I might as well. I'm just leaning into it all the time anyway. I did tweak the stats a little bit, but not a lot. When you swear an iron vow to solve a murder, a disappearance, a theft, or some other mystery. They should have just said mystery. Make the rank of the quest no greater than formidable. And this is interesting. You have to set it up for formidable, and then or less formidable or less. Then, when you gather information in the course of the investigation, this is actually super cool. Roll 3 challenge dice and choose 2. And there's a way to do it, and they implemented this. There's a way to do it when you roll the thing. If any of the challenge dice match, you have to use those values. Okay? So you have to pick the crit. It might be a crit success. It might be a crit failure, but you have to pick it. If any, on a miss with a match, so you match but you fail, you envision what you learn of a deepening conspiracy or a betrayal, and then you make the rank of the quest 1 notch higher, assuming that you have it maxed up, because it keeps getting more complicated as you learn more shit about it.
Another layer of the onion.
Another layer of the onion. And then you use the new rank for marking any future progress, but you keep the progress that you had up to that point, but it gets more complicated. I just think it's really cool. I hadn't ever noticed that asset before, and it's just really sick. When I took Sleuth, I also rolled a Swear an Iron Vow to discover the Ember Circle's motives, which is under yeah. And I got a match. I got a full hit with a success with a match. So yeah, it was like double 2s or something like that. So I took an advance on it because of the conversation with my daughter and going, okay, well, I don't really know what's going on here, but whatever. And I only made it dangerous under the assumption it's probably going to get worse as I roll and my dice betray me and it gets more complicated. I kind of hope that it does, because it's pretty cool if it becomes more complicated. So that is a vow that I currently have going on with that. I was thinking I was going to do some sort of mystery with what the whole deal is with this crystal thing, but actually I'm not going to worry about that unless we get into, like, it looks like we have to go in further.
Well, I was going to say, you might end up having to solve the mystery of what happened to the people on the ship.
And if so, I'm going to start with like the lowest level. Like troublesome,
Right.
Maybe if we do have to get into the thing, I'm half tempted.
I've been hailing them for an hour and there's no response. We've flown over the ship twice with the probe and there's nothing there. I think it's a ghost ship.
Have you tried?
I think we're clear to move into Siphon.
I'm looking at it. So have you tried smoke signals? That is a very old ship. I wonder.
Well, we did try an older protocol and no response.
I can hear him like, we tried an older protocol, not that old, but we did try an older one. Did you try rapping on the hull in a regular tap pattern like they used to use on the Generation ship? Because,
well, not intentionally, but Grudge is not the greatest drone pilot, and so he did put a big old key. He kind of keyed the side of the ship.
So sorry. Whoa, easy there. Oh, she's rocking. She's bucking. Just to kick the tires on this, I'm gonna give it a shot here. So first thing I'm gonna do while we're doing this, as we're moving in closer, I'm like, I just wonder what do I remember about this, and I'll get my pal up and start doing some. But I'll do I'll swear an iron vow. Good Lord.
And while blank swearing an iron vow to solve a murder, I mean, it would be totally in character, I think.
And I'm just gonna roll that.
Ooh!
Oh,
way to go! You wanted to use your new rule. Here you go.
Well, see, this isn't even I haven't even gotten to the new rule yet. It's a miss with a match. On a miss, you must overcome a significant obstacle before you can even begin the quest. Envision what stands in your way.
Well, what stands in your way is it's real old. You have no information.
There is okay, and so I'm over at another terminal. I've been thinking about doing this thing. It's like I'm over at another terminal, so I haven't even actually opened up the quest yet. I'm looking at this thing going, well, this doesn't make any damn sense, because I'm running some cameras on the outside of the ship as we're getting in closer. There's no markings. There's no registration on the hull. It seems to have been. Now this is interesting. This actually, Tinker, come over here. Look at this whole it's pulled up, like it's taken a picture of it and kind of turned it into kind of a wireframe. Is that a whole silhouette that you have ever seen? And the answer to the question is no, we haven't.
Well, yeah, I have seen it. The problem is it's not one ship. That's 3 ships welded together.
Oh, dang. All right.
If you take the really old, like original Orion class shuttles that we came that the ancestors came into this cluster with, and you put 2 of them together like in an L shape, and then you take one of the original
One of the
escape
Reapers.
pods
I
and you
see
glue that on
the nacelle. It looks like a Reaper. Oh, all
the
right.
whole. Yeah, that's the reason you've not seen one. It's not one ship. This is somebody's like garbage scow of doom.
Okay. Well, okay. So
I
it's
haven't been able to find the fuel port yet. I've gone 3 flyovers.
so there's 3. All right. So it's older than my grandmother and 3 different. Well, I might not be even know. I think I'd have to get it.
This has got to be from the cult. Like, there's no way this did not come from the paradox.
See, now this was my thinking here. I don't even think this is us. I think this is some sort of salvage or explorer, something like that, from one of the other sectors. I think this came
Really?
in. I think my only thing that would make any sense is that this came in before the bale fire, before we were cut off. You'll
Yeah.
remember.
I mean, I haven't seen one of those escape pods except in the technical manuals, so it makes sense.
The only way we could ever figure out even who these people were is if we actually got in there and managed to pull the data core, and I'm not sure that we really want to go.
Sounds real dangerous. Wait a minute. Okay, I think that might be the fuel
Okay.
door.
Perfect. Why don't you roll gather information just to find where we need to actually be on this thing?
Let me see if this is actually the fuel door here. Given that this is a scavenger wreck thing, I am going to take my +1.
Absolutely. 100%.
And let's see if it helps. Maybe. Yeah.
Strong hit. Oh, I saw the 2 4s and I was like, with a match. No, it's the wrong dice are matching. Yeah, the wrong dice are matching.
Great. Yeah,
really
so I think I have found the fuel door, but it was the strong hit. I think it's really just a matter of maneuvering over there.
Yeah.
Making it happen.
So
Since this was gather information, I think we still have to actually do it. And
yep.
I would
make sure.
I wouldn't mind if we did something, whether it was like a space danger, to actually try to hook up to this.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Door.
Between the Explorer Waypoint roll, though, and gather information, you should have moved your momentum up by 4. Yeah, and you're good. You're at 6. You're right where you need to be. So yeah, I think face danger to get in there and get close on the thing. So I'm looking at the different. When you attempt something risky or react to imminent threat, expertise, focus, and observation feels like.
But what I would really like to know is if
agility.
your sleuthiness is going to help us at all here.
I have not activated the detect anything about this because I didn't actually get the. What I did very, very specifically is I got the result that said you don't even get to start the quest to figure the
Sure. Well, so I think that you had to face the challenge of calling me over, and then we figured out what the deal was. So I think you could probably try again now that you have another foothold at it.
Significant obstacle before you begin your quest. Envision what stands in your. Well, this is what stands in my way. And you say, I think I found the fuel thing. Where are you looking at?
Right here, and I kind of like do a John Madden thing on the screen with my finger, with the little yellow circle.
All right.
And this looks like a common fuel thing from like shuttlecraft of the 100 years ago era. The connector is the same. It's just the door on the outside I didn't recognize.
And I'm kind of holding up my PAL and I'm flipping through a couple of screens and looking at that and looking back at. Okay, well let me give it. I'll give it a shot. Maybe. All right, so if I do gather information, there's advanced options there where I can say extra challenge dice, and I move it up by 1. And nothing special shows up there. Weak hit, basically, because I get the 1 and the 5. I'm going to say, so that one part right there, that's part of a Vixen. So this had to have come, at least part of it came from at least. I mean, those were only ever scout craft that were used in a couple of different places on a couple of generation ships. I don't even think any of them were at Cobalt Reach, although some of them had gotten there by that point in time. So there's this long pause, like, that's a big, probably came from over here, but at least it came through there, even if they weren't the ones that actually had the ship. That's where it would have come from. And there's this, like, the pause. And then Grudge is like, how does that help us? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't think it does. It just, I just think it's interesting. So yeah, because honestly, the information, literally, because the only mechanical benefit is it moves my momentum up a notch. and I
Hey,
advance my
that's
thing. So it doesn't really do anything for you, but it's very much, it reads like somebody with a hyperfixation, like geeking out about something that nobody else gives a crap about.
well, but again, classic Benoit Blanc of like going off on this like crazy tangent. How does that help us? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
You know.
I just find it. Don't you just think it's fascinating? Not exactly. So let's see. Discover the origin of the Frankenship.
So, are we going to try to one shot this refuel with a face danger, or are we going to make a tracker for it?
I don't think we need to make a tracker for it. Let's just try the face danger, and if any complications come up, then we can see how far down the rabbit hole that takes us. But again, I think so. That's a resupply roll, or face danger. It's going to be face danger then resupply. So face danger, you don't get the bonus on it. Resupply is where your scavenger thing is going to come right back up in again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to try to go over there and hope that this person doesn't have any sort of trap on their fuel door.
Yeah, because we're not going to be able to do this automatically. You're going to have to do that manually, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Grudge has got the drone real close, but I'm gonna see if I can get that door flipped open to the point where we can expose the port. Now, again, these ports have been standardized for 500 years, so
yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. It's just probably not automated. The battery's probably. I'm coming with you. I'm gonna go get my suit on. I'm only half listening to any of the technical stuff. I just keep looking at the ship. I was like, I want to get my hands on that thing. I just want to see it.
Yeah. So the drone has basically rigged a like a tether between the ships at this point.
Oh, sure.
And we're gonna like pull ourselves along.
Yeah, just yank ourselves. A little bit of easy enough. Okay. So really face danger, and then where's your momentum is at a 6 and mine's at an 8 right now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, since I've got the momentum to burn, how about I do the face danger to get us over there, and then you do the resupply portion of it. Is that spread that out a little bit?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. I'll read that as my eagerness to get over there, and like you're like, all right, so we're gonna get out here and what is the standard like caution like standard refuel kind of resupply off of this reminds me of something. I can't think what it would be, but just the idea of like sort of siphoning off somebody else's gas tank.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm worried about, just like out of character, is I'm worried about that they have booby trapped this thing because they park at some nasty truck stop, basically.
Sure.
And they don't want to have somebody, go and siphon their gas. And so this thing absolutely could be booby trapped, and that's why I'm not having the drone do it. Because if I'm right on it,
you want hands on.
Whether it's booby trapped or how it might be broken, for example. Whereas if we just try to flick it open with the drone, I mean, it could just blow up.
So you're going through. Okay, so I want to be the first one on there. We're not going to have the drone touch it. I'm going to take a look at this thing, just make sure the thing's not booby trapped, any of that kind of stuff, because it could definitely just have that kind of any of these. If something this janky has been put together, they probably set up stuff to just cause all kinds of hardship if anybody's in there. Quit. Monarch, do you hear me? Oh, yeah. I just, so I was just about to set feet down on the hole, and I've decided to wait till you get here. Because
that seems wise.
That is
wise.
You made a very compelling argument there, but in the meantime, I will have at least, I'm just going to take a look here, see if I see anything that looks, explosion-ish.
Yeah, use your UV light on it, but don't hold it in any one spot for too long, or you might set it off.
UV light, right? I got that here. We're gonna get in there, and we're gonna observation. We're gonna do this with observation.
I'm looking for my non-metallic opening tool. It's taking me a minute here.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna scan this thing over real look here. See if there's. Oh, it looks like maybe halfway. I think I see maybe the name of the ship, although it looks like somebody spot welded over part of it. Not looking at the right bits here, but we're going to do a little wits roll. The 9 hurt, but the 2 is okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You succeed, but not without cost. Make a suffer move. All right. Make a suffer move. All right. What have we got here? I don't want to supply. No.
Hey, you're just looking, right?
I'm just not even absolutely just looking. Why didn't it give me a chance there? Oh, it was a 9. I couldn't have done anything with my momentum anyway. You know what? I think I'm going to actually go with lose momentum since you've slowed me down here in my exploration, I think.
All right, I found my tool. I'm heading over.
All right, so I'm going to move my momentum down and tick on this as I'm fiddling around with it. What were you looking for?
My non-metallic opening tool, in case it's electrified or intentionally or not,
I
I
wonder,
don't want to,
have I got one of
electrocute
these
us.
on the utility belt? I wonder if
No,
I.
I've only got one of them in the kit, and that's why it took me a server to find.
Ah, I see. There's a move in here. That we kind of, I always forget to have this thing, but it's kind of a fun thing to do. If you're going into a situation where you feel like you're pretty well kitted up, but it still needs to be like this weird thing that you
Mhm.
have, like a snake bite kit or whatever.
Right, right.
There's a move in here called check your gear, and you roll and add your supply. And if you make the roll, if you're on a strong hit, you have the thing. So you can go, actually, I have exactly that. And you get +1 momentum. If you get a weak hit, you either lose you have it, but you either lose momentum or you lose supply. But it can be kind of a fun thing, to
Yep,
pull
yeah.
out the wooden stake launching slash, the wooden stake launcher that's also a grappling hook gun, thing when you're doing vampire hunting or whatever.
Yeah, it's the leverage effect of, like, it flashed back to you saying, "I might need this," and throwing it in your pack.
Well, I think, I'm sure you would have been able to scan over this quite a bit faster than me because it seems as though I've taken this entire time, but it certainly looks clean all around it. I do not see any of the wires. Nothing is ultraviolet or ultraviolent, infrared. Everything looks fine. And as
All
near
right,
as I can
I'm
tell,
going over.
I'm going to assume that at least part of this ship was called the. I'm going to go with Hephaestus. That's probably how that word would end. So part of it was the Hephaestus, possibly. I wonder if there's any names on the rest of these. Kind of wandering hither and yon. So while you're doing the resupply, I'm actually going to just use my little, what do they call that? Tea kettle, a little like superheated steam that gets
Yep.
just do a few little like drifting around the outside of the ship. And what's hilarious about this is I'm so focused on this. There is a goddamn crystal skyscraper attached to this fucking
Right.
thing, and I'm not even looking at it.
See if you can look in the windows. When I hit it with the drone, they were all crazed, couldn't see in.
Crack. All right, I'll give that a look, and I will gather information then while you're doing that. Actually, I just rolled, so why don't you start the resupply action? Oh, a 10 and a 1. Okay, on a weak hit, did you give yourself your +1? You did, didn't you? All right. You must first deal with a cost, complication, or demand. Envision the nature of this obstacle, then choose one. We're not unprepared, so that doesn't come up. Otherwise, we get +2 supply.
Well, remember how I said that these connectors have been standardized for 500 years? They must have gotten one from something older than that on here. It's not. I've seen them before in the history books, and I think I can craft myself an adapter, but it's not going to
It's
be
like
an easy.
it's like
connect-
off the generation ship. Like it's
Yeah,
like this is original, like a port off the, but not for fuel. It's like a port for like the food goo dispenser from the generation ship that they like jury rigged to be like the fuel mount for this thing.
yeah, but
Something completely
then
else.
they put the fuel symbol on it here, so it's clearly the fuel port. It just
It wasn't.
I mean,
It was never this.
yeah, it was never this size, but that's all right. I brought the adapter kit. I think I can craft something here.
The adapter kit, just this duffel bag full of like
Little
flanges and.
weird pipes, flanges.
All right. All
So
right.
I'm gonna let you investigate while I'm trying to craft this.
This is a real hodgepodge, a grandmother's quilt of technology, if you will. Remarkable. All right, I have an idea if this is an unwelcome truth, so we're just gonna see how this goes. Let me just look at that asset real quick on mine. Gather information. Oh, I'm still rolling the 3 challenge dice, right? Okay, so we're gathering, doing that. 1 extra challenge dice, rolling those wits. I'm very tense when I'm looking. Oh, that 1 has not helped me at all. There is no way. Oh, wait, I can probably. So here's an interesting thing.
You pick the 4 and 5, it'll be a weak hit, right?
Yeah, I'll pick the 4 or 5, but I can. No, it's
Oh,
still going
maybe
to be a
not.
miss.
Those will fail every way. Yeah, it's a fail no matter how you do it.
However, now I can burn momentum if I want to. I'm going to hit save here first of all, just to look at the thing. So that's a miss. Your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. But strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. So what's interesting here is I think I can actually I can learn the same thing. It's a question of whether or not what.
It's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, it's just a question of whether or not I can find any useful way of actually putting it to any kind of, use whatsoever.
This is going to set the record for most adapters I've screwed together for a single refuel.
I could just see this horrible freaking daisy chain. Okay. So on a miss, it unearths a dire threat. On the strong hit, it's something helpful and specific.
Rudge, you've got the checker to make sure this is fuel before it goes into the tank, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He had not. He has it. Answer is yes, he has it. Other answer, he had not turned that on to vet any of this. So
all right, we're going into the auxiliary tank first, but
yeah, okay.
You seen anything in those windows, Quentin?
Yeah, it's their glass is not cracked. There's something in the inside of the oh Lord, as I kind of flinch back from the thing and kind of, zero G flow back away from that. That's there's some sort of biological the trail. It's like a webbing on the inside there. Hang on, it's just I gotta get back in there, have a look at and I pull out like some kind of light. I'm gonna burn the momentum, and that'll turn it back into a strong hit.
All right. Any reason I shouldn't start this fuel, Quentin?
No, it should be. No, it's fine. We just definitely probably don't want to go back on inside there. We don't want to go inside.
All right, I'm going to kick off the fuel thing, and we'll see what happens here.
So what I'm seeing as I shine down in there is there's like these what you saw is like the
it's snail trails.
It's snail trails all on the inside of the glass. But as I've shined down in there, this place is a iridescent, sort of slimy, pearlescent termite mound, like kind of encasement all over the inside of a bunch of this stuff. And I think at points where these things are across like certain electronics and stuff like that, there's still diodes and stuff that are reacting and lighting up to the contact of these things. So yeah, there's definitely some kind of creature in there. Well, you say it. They're not large. I would say maybe the size of the palm of my hand, but there are a great many of them in there. They're everywhere. I have never seen the like. Well, no, that's not true. I have seen the like. They look like snails, but they're glowing, and they seem to have covered this whole thing in sort of a gelatinous mass all throughout the ship. But they are definitely, what did you say, reactive to light. And also, I shut it off for a second. Yeah, they glow on their own, too. And I flip it back on.
All right, I'm going to add a filter to the fuel line. I mean, I had a small one, but I'm going to add a bigger one in case these things got into the fuel.
Yeah, they seem to be mostly they're mostly...
You see any of the crew in there?
Definitely not. Actually, hang on a second. Let's find out. Let's ask the Oracle. What do you think the odds are that one guy who was still shouting out made it back to the ship before things went badly? In our flashback. Not zero. Not zero.
And these things, he might have made it back and thought he was fine and brought a couple snails with him, and then
he gets exposed. I'm gonna say it's like 50-50. Let's say 50-50. Because
I did take the supply from the fuel working.
As you were talking about, like the idea that there's this constant slow, they're like you're being chased very slowly but implacably. Yes. No, I don't think that there's yes. Yes. Well, that would explain what that larger... They seem to have cocooned one of the... It didn't preserve him at all, but there's definitely a body in there, or the remains of one. I'm trying to see if I can get any kind... Maybe a different angle through one of the other ports. One moment. There is somebody. I think just the one, though. Could one person fly this?
Oh, yeah. If it's built from these shuttles, it could definitely be a one person pilot.
All right.
In fact, if I remember right, on these original shuttles, the data core was externally accessible.
Well, if I could, of course, because you need to. Well, it does make a certain amount of sense. Let me see if I can find that then. On which shuttle, though? There's 3 bodies here, and I'm trying to find the dental records on one of them.
Based on the orientation, I would pick the one that the person is in with the glass, because the other shuttle's got like silver foil over the glass.
All right.
All right, fuel's flowing. How's it looking, Grudge?
It looks fine. There isn't. I mean, it's not the efficiency is terrible. We're gonna fill up the tank, and it's only gonna feel like we're maybe it's gonna be full. It's gonna read it probably about 60% efficiency. I'm just reading that because what is right now our supply is sitting at, I think, 1.
Well, yeah, so it's now 3
Yeah.
after.
So after this, so yeah, what I'm saying is the fuel tanks are full, but our supply is still at 3 because it's just
Yeah.
old bad fuel. It'll work.
Yeah.
It's just old. I'm going to try and secure an advantage, I think, because what I'm doing, or well, yeah, I think that's probably about right. I'm trying to assess the situation. I'm trying to set up a way I can get information without way I can get information before I gather information, and that's really about me trying to figure out if I can find where this stuff is at here. So I'm
Well,
gonna
is there,
go.
like, gain an advantage or something like that?
Well, secure an advantage. Yeah, that's essentially what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm going to do that first before I try to get into the other thing. Really, it's still going to be a wits thing because I'm really kind of going through here with observation. You know what though? I'm going to do something slightly different. So I realize this is actually kind of a weird little thing here. So what we're seeing as I'm looking in through this thing, I say, yeah, I suppose I could look around here, but then I keep drawing my attention keeps being drawn back to the porthole and looking back in at this guy that I've realized is there. And what were you doing? You didn't bring those things with you. They're probably from this great monstrosity behind us. Probably a food source that went crazy or something, for all that we know. But they immobilized you, didn't they? You didn't realize that they were coming. They surprised you, but you had come and you had attached to the ship. You wouldn't have come here by yourself. Nobody, I don't care how desperate you were, would try to take on something like this by yourself. So we'll say there's some more folks that were with you, but they didn't come back. They aren't in here. You were in there and you got startled by the whole thing, and then you come running back, but they got you anyway. What were you doing until you got caught? You were sending a distress beak with all the information of what you spotted, and that's what you were doing before they caught you. All right. So what I'm going to do is
We should be refueled in about 15 minutes.
and I'm just muttering to myself about this whole, it's kind of coming over the comms stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use empath because I'm, right? When you realizing the guy is dead, this is why I think I like it better. Sort of, I think it's a mix of a bunch of different things, but at least part of it's just reading this guy. Honest. So you read the intent, emotions, memories of a nearby being. Roll heart on a strong hit. You glimpse a helpful aspect of their inner self, right? And you actually, there's no move for this. You just hit heart.
All right.
And we'll.
Yeah, maybe.
That nine.
Yeah, I mean, you got something.
I'll take a weak hit on that because it's. I mean, I'm reaching on this. This is back into some weird history here. Okay, so on a strong hit, you glimpse a helpful aspect. Blah 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 blah. On a weak hit, the visions are murky. Take +1 momentum. That's fine. I'm just getting a little bit of insight into this thing, and I think so that it just raises my momentum by 1. So I don't think we need to pull the memory. I need to figure out where their emergency distress beacon launcher would be at, because I'm betting there's still something in the tube. There she is. Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should be in the back. It might have gotten blocked by the vertical.
All right. Well, you're saying okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, because they'd fire it out.
Look at the top of the ship, top of the horizontal ship, where that meets the vertical ship, and see if you can find a pinkish.
You think it's probably they still use that color scheme? All right. Well, I'll take a look.
Well, again, same 500-year standard.
Now we're going to gather information here. Gather information.
Cover should have blown off if they launched the stress beacon, but wouldn't be surprised if it was jammed.
If it wasn't, well, if the cover's gone and there's nothing underneath, then we know what happened to it. And if it's still there, hopefully its recording is as well. Let's see if we can find that. No matches. Oh, that's tasty. All right, so that's a
strong hit.
Take that there. 4 and 1. We'll save that, and that turns it into strong hit. You discover something helpful and specific. Okay, so all right, I got. All I need is really a pry. I mean, these lids should just pop right off. It looks like a damn near will already. All right, just give me a pry tool here. We're just gonna pop that.
Yeah, none of this stuff looks trapped now that I'm looking at it. I think it's just basically junked together.
And so I'm prying. It's like, yep. I'm really hoping that you're right about that. I mean, who would booby trap the cover plate for the distress beacon in any case. And I say, why do I say things like that? I'm saying it to space. Like I'm saying it to open. Why do I say
Right.
things like that? That could be, and I see the plate go floating past me. Oh, well, aren't you just the prettiest thing? You just come right here now. Oh. All right. Well, I'm going to, Tinker, I'm coming back your way. We're going to take a look at this once we get back into the ship, I think.
All right. I'm disconnecting in 3, 2, 1.
It's just.
I got to get all these adapters off. It's going to take a minute. Going back on in the ship.
That looks messy. Discover the origin of the Frankenship Scout. Now, the nice thing is, because this thing never got more complicated, all I needed was like 3 advances to get it up really quite far along in terms of getting some sort of information. So I'm bringing this little beacon, something just a little bit bigger than like a coffee thermos, really, that's meant to be ejected out and like have a little beep, beep, beep thing going. I think battery's probably dead on this, but we can hook it up inside.
You check that thing for snails yet?
You say that, I have now. All right.
Me, I'd run the flamethrower over there.
We're making. All right. Well, we definitely will have to take a note of this and send it back. We can send information back to Pinnacle about it, but we definitely want to tell it, because whatever those things are, we're going to call those inimical to human life. They do not look. They don't look aggressive, but they definitely look dangerous.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't want to give anybody the heebie-jeebies, but I've opened a lot of precursor vaults, and I'm getting like bad vibes off this crystal thing. So we should probably move on if we can.
Yeah, I do get the sense that it has noticed us. So yeah, we've probably been about as lucky as we can. Let us pull back on out of here, and we'll let's be on our merry.
Grudge is like, whoa, you're not kidding. That thing's like 300 meters closer to us than when we parked.
Yeah, because the thing is, nothing ever really stops in space. So you like come to a full stop, a relative full stop. Right. We've been in a relative full stop, and some reason, and somehow it's like, half a click closer is not great news.
No.
Yeah. Let's not. I don't think we want to be docking with this, and we definitely don't want it to dock with us. Let's get back on, and we'll just quickly. I tell you what. As curious as I am about this, we're just going to set this over here in this nice little quarantine box. Let's get into Adrift and test out this brand new fuel that we got. This brand new, very old fuel that we got.
It seems fine. It's just like you said, it's just a little weak. I might be able to run a distillation process on it and get rid of some of the excess garbage, but it's going to take some time. In the meantime, we need to jet.
Let's just head on out of here. Now, so for undertaking an expedition, we can go, I think, moving vigilantly, like being careful. I don't see a lot of reason to do anything other than move carefully, because staying out under the radar is not really. I don't even know what that would look like. Right?
In space here, so we can go as fast as we dare.
But edge isn't really anything that's a strong point for either one of us. So let's just go with your wits is a 3.
I'm hoping that Grudge is all edge. But
you don't get to roll his stats. You only get to roll our stats. Is it? What's your wit? Your wits are a 3, aren't they? Isn't that your good one?
Yeah.
Your really good one. All right. Why don't you give us the undertaking expedition? We'll test out your fuel. I can blame you if it blows up.
All right. Go.
As we dive away from this thing. Oh, that's 6.
Wow.
Oh!
Crushed it.
Love that. On a strong hit, you reach a waypoint.
Do we call this? We made it all the way to the end.
I mean, it advances the way it advances. So let's look at a couple of shared things here real quick. Where's everything? Shared sheet.
So basically, it just says mark progress.
Yeah, the match thing is an extra thing. So we can decide what we're going to do with the match. So first of all, we just treat it like a strong hit and get that part done. So we get to the waypoint of Cobalt Reach, which moves us 2 along. Charting a route, I definitely think, first of all, we found the thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is going to be very valuable in its own route, right? But we also made, I think, a real solid, easily replicable jump. So I think charting the route that also advances. But now it's like, so what's the strong hit? So there's a couple of different things we could do here. Let's first figure out let's get all the info before we figure out what we're going to do with that match, because they do an interesting thing. In some moves, you'll see if you get a strong hit, this, and if you get a strong hit with a match, this other thing. But with the real general moves that get used a bunch, they don't say that, because it's really left up to you to figure out how you want to use it in the moment, because it's not a specific enough move to be able to say this is exactly what goes on. So under oracles, custom oracles, waypoints, waypoint oracles, we're in the outlands, planet, okay. Planet reference guide, go back up to the planet oracles, furnace world. I want to see what the star is like. But magma seas, that's what's visible from space. Marginal atmosphere. And if we look at space, space encounters. Stellar object. Stellar object? Sure. Okay. Corrupted star radiating unnatural light that is like cooking this planet down to magma seas. That sounds great. That sounds great. That sounds really weird. So you say it says corrupting star, and I immediately say, like, imagine a star with a ring around it, except the ring is like sort of a Mobius loop, like sort of like a loop through the star, and it's balefire stuff. So like balefire feeding through the star and like that kind of stuff. Advanced warning of an environmental threat is the opportunity that we get here. That if we want to go for the opportunity, because that's spaceborne opportunity is like, okay, where's that? What's that double telling us? I think, okay, so we got balefire. We got the balefire feeding through the star. The star's energy is basically liquefying the surface of the planet that's nearest there. How do you feel about coal, like immediately, like as soon as we come out of the drift, just like, or even a few moments before we come out of the drift, like have her like kind of eyes go black, and she's like, this is bad, we gotta go right now, because we get.
I think that's great. I said that in the prep. It's like I really wanted her to have like a vision on one of these.
Yeah,
like,
advance warning of an environmental threat. So yeah, I think she's immediately saying it, and I'm like coming over to her, and then we come out of the drift, and she's immediately on her hands and knees. I'm like, Cole, what's the matter? And she's like, we got to get out of here. It's like, and like, but we're going to. We just have to recycle. It's like, no, immediately, as fast, like you got it's. And she looks up, and her eyes are all black. She's like, it'll get into our minds. And shit. Now we rolled well enough. We don't need to like face danger, but we really just immediately don't stay. And it's because of Cole's thing. And I think that is actually indicative of something. I'm going to check, look at my moves here real quick. There's a connection thing. So one of the develop your relationship things is you can mark a development, like sort of a growth in their relationship if you leverage their help in desperate circumstances. That is connections. We'll pick that up a notch. I'll get her there. One tick at a time. We'll get there. Your edge is a 1 also, isn't it? Here's the thing. I think no matter what, so we're not at a disadvantage or anything like that, except for this. We probably need to roll edge for the next jump, just because it's like go fast. Which sucks because we
don't have time to think about it.
Yeah, it's bad because we don't really have much edge. I've got 5 momentum, so okay. What's yours at right now?
I think I'm still at like 7 or 8.
How do you feel about doing the edge roll?
Do it.
Yeah, I think that. Okay, so yeah, I they're gonna get into our minds. I'm like, Tinker, we've got to jump, and we've got to jump right now. No time to recalibrate. Just get away from this system.
I rolled wits though.
You rolled.
Sorry.
Oh, you rolled wits. Well,
yeah.
we can just adjust it on the fly though, because that's easy enough to do. So rather than adding the +3,
so it should be 3 versus 1 versus 3. So it would be a weak hit.
Weak hit. I think we can take. I think that actually makes them a good amount of sense, because we have to rush, so we're likely to end up in kind of a bit of a mess. So rather than this strong hit here, it would look like on a weak hit.
Weak hit, something interesting, but it's bound up in peril.
On the undertaken expedition, yeah. Well, Wait, which one are you looking at?
Or I was looking to explore waypoints. Sorry.
Yeah. So undertake an expedition. Weak hit. You reach a waypoint, mark progress, but it costs you either suffer costs or we face peril at the waypoint. I'm not loving the idea of suffering costs, but we just refueled, so maybe
Mm,
we have some peril to deal with.
yep. I think it's time for
Um,
some peril,
and we can,
and we'll set that up for next time. What the peril is.
yeah, we can, but we do mark progress on get to the waypoint of Cobalt Reach. That does happen. So we're up
Mhm.
to 8. Probably,
We'll see how this peril goes.
yeah. And oh yeah, you're right. We are. Well, do we want to know what the peril? Do we want to know where we land, and then we can
No, I was thinking we should, and then I'm like, nah. I think it'd be more fun if we write it
like
right as
just
soon as we
completely do
start
it cold?
the timer.
Don't give us a week to think
Yeah,
about it. All right, that's
yeah.
fair. So,
Otherwise, you're gonna come up with snails again. Or
the thing is, I would have put the snails into the chat regardless, just because it was a cool freaking picture, and I'm just like, there's always constantly this thing in the back of my mind. And you know what it is? I'm in writer mode right now with this game,
ah,
which is everything. Everything goes in the mill. Is it useful? Who knows? But it's 100% just everything just goes
I
in
love. Well,
there.
that's what I love about this is you just throw a bunch of stuff out there and then see what the dice do, and
It's
then you're
like,
like, aha, perfect. This goes slots right here.
yeah, some of it is somebody dressed in a big starry robe walking around at a fashion show.
Hmm.
Are we going to use it? Probably not, but it's freaking cool, so let's go there. I like that you got to use your stuff with the salvaging, but we didn't end up in
Yeah,
a big long, because we already sort of did a explorer or expedition into the thing, and we kept it kind of short, but it would have been
sure.
really a lot. And this way, it's like that whole thing just remains as this unexplored
Hmm.
dungeon that we can
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I've been noodling on is a thing where the first scene of the adventure is the scene that's at the end of basically a huge dungeon crawl, and the vault with all the treasure in it is right there, and you are like a first level dude, and you have no chance of opening this thing, and it's dangerous as hell, and you just have to get the hell out. And then, at the end of the campaign, you are like, aha, now we can go back.
Now we can go back and do the thing. Yeah, 100%. Cool. This is awesome. I love it.